All right, well, good morning, everyone, and welcome to another Monday morning, also the first day of spring headlines with Hannah. And we have a special show today because we're actually going to be doing a live interview with the Assistant Director of Audiology at Livingston Hearing Aid Center. So we have Hunter coming in here, and we're going to talk about how hearing affects your brain's well-being and fights the risk of dementia. There's a lot of interesting tidbits, so I want to just go ahead and get into it. So if you want to go ahead and help me welcome Hunter, thank you so much for being with us this morning. This is such an interesting topic to me. And can you just kind of start us off? What is the connection between hearing loss, dementia? This is something I haven't heard of before.
Absolutely. Moderate to severe hearing loss has been linked as a cause of dementia in a recent study for older adults. And research says that hearing loss accounts for 8% of global dementia cases. So really, it's that the brain is having to work harder to fill in the gaps for those that are suffering from hearing loss and really can just kind of cause some strain on the brain. And research has found that using hearing aids can significantly reduce your risk of developing dementia. And the evidence is just piling up that the more stimulated your brain is, the less likely that you are to develop cognitive decline. And hearing aids can aid in that endeavor.
Amazing. And so are hearing aids the only solution, or how else can people kind of increase their hearing health, brain health, and correlate those?
Well, in regards to dementia, there are a lot of risk factors for dementia. However, the only modifiable risk factor for dementia is hearing loss. Hearing loss, it's a risk factor for dementia, but it's something that we can treat. And really, the earlier that we treat it, the better the outcomes will be. Not only for preventing, cognitive decline, but also treating the hearing loss and allowing that individual to be more aware of the world around them and have the ability to connect with individuals in the world around them. So it really is important.
Absolutely. And this, like I was saying, this is kind of new to me, this information and this study. I know it's Johns Hopkins. Do a lot of people know about this, or is this kind of a new revelation that y'all are sharing and just kind of make people aware?
It is something that is newer within the last few years. There has been a lot of research that has been going on at Johns Hopkins and as well as at other institutions within the last few years. But really, it's something that's kind of new and that we're trying to educate consumers and educate the public about.
Absolutely. And how are you kind of seeing people react to this news? Are they wanting to be more preventative and kind of know their symptoms or what they're experiencing, or how are they receiving the information?
Absolutely. I think now that people are more aware of the link between cognitive decline or dementia and hearing loss, people are actually more willing to treat their hearing loss a little bit sooner than they have in the past. So it really is a great thing to not only allow these individuals to hear better, like I said, to connect to the world around them, but also to prevent the possibility of this cognitive decline that I know a lot of people are kind of fearful of as we age and have more birthdays.
It is. It's definitely something that you don't necessarily want to, but like you said, it comes with age and everything. However, what is the age that you start to see these, or that people can start to kind of see this happen, or just kind of spark interest? When do people kind of need to start paying attention?
Well, if you notice that you may be having some trouble hearing, which can present in a variety of ways, but for most people, I find that sounds seem muffled, and they may be having to turn up the volume or asking others to repeat. But the most common thing that I hear from individuals is, I feel like I can hear, but I just can't understand. Mm-hmm. And if you find that you are in those situations or have experienced that, then I would really recommend, seeing a hearing health care professional and having a hearing evaluation. And so that we can see if hearing is the issue or if it's something else. But really staying on top of that is just going to, help everything down the road and prevent, cognitive decline. And also, like I said, just really it allows you to be connected to the people in the world around you.
It really does. Hearing, like you said, it really connects you to people in all different ways, and something maybe you don't really realize until it's taken away or diminished. Also, I feel like in this day and age, so many people wear headphones and maybe blaster music or podcasts, whatever it is, just so loud. Have y'all seen that become such an impact over the recent years?
Absolutely. Yes, ma'am. Hearing loss, it's really something that's cumulative. It's typically not just one event that causes the hearing loss, mm-hmm. but a course of things over the individual's life. And we're seeing that the more and more that people use headphones and listen to music and podcasts at loud volumes, that the more it's impacting their hearing. So we have seen that, and unfortunately, I expect to see more of it.
Mm-hmm. And so is that kind of how can people help their I mean, I know hearing loss at some point it could happen regardless of all the precautions and things you do, but what are some things that you can do, maybe you're younger, maybe even in high school and onward, that can kind of help keep your hearing healthy?
Well, I like to refer to what I call the 60-60 rule,
Mm.
which is not listening to anything at more than 60% of the volume for longer than 60 minutes. So just kind of being mindful of your exposure to loud noise and trying to reduce that over time. Anytime that you are around loud noise, like, going to concerts, if you're hunting, anything like that, wearing hearing protection is really going to help you protect your hearing and, help protect things for years to come. Just kind of helping with that cumulative exposure of sound. So definitely, if you're around loud noise, protect your hearing, wear some earplugs, hearing protection. But also, it's important to have your hearing evaluated. Just like we get our eyes checked and our teeth cleaned once a year, it's also important to get your hearing checked once a year. So it's important to just stay on top of that as much as you can.
It is. And like you said, I feel like with your eyes or dentists, people really commonly do that. Hearing is something that I feel like is not as common in people just taking care of their hearing and their health. And now, especially with it being linked to dementia, that's a very kind of real thing and something that maybe even is a little scary. And so, yeah, what do you recommend for people? How often? Is it yearly, or what do you recommend?
I recommend yearly checkups. It's important to just be able to track changes over time. And so that, if there is a hearing loss present, or if a hearing loss becomes present over time, that we can, detect and treat that early. Because the sooner that we treat it, the better the outcomes, not only for preventing cognitive decline, but also the better the outcomes with hearing aids and hearing the world around them.
Absolutely. Is there kind of a way to, in regards to connection of hearing loss and dementia, can you kind of, if you're starting to see those symptoms, maybe those effects, is there any way to kind of slow it down or prevent? I mean, I know dementia is dementia, but are there any ways to kind of, if you're caught on early, how can you kind of help?
Well, hearing loss and dementia share a lot of the same symptoms. It is a lot harder to remember something if you didn't hear it clearly in the first place.
Mm.
So, I think that treating the hearing loss would be the first step, because it's going to make it easier to remember things when you can hear them clearly.
Absolutely. That is a very good point. And how you said earlier about the 60 for 60 rule, I didn't know about that. And it's smart. You just kind of have to be more cognizant and aware, because it's something we're so used to having every day, but until it's taken away or limited, you might not really notice it. So what are some things that people need to do, kind of first steps that you need to take? I know we kind of touched on it, but just to recap, what are people need to be on the lookout for, and what do they need to do?
I would be on the lookout for, if you notice that yourself or, one of your family members or loved ones is asking others to repeat, is having that TV up, turning the TV up louder, or is just mentioning that, it sounds like they're mumbling, they're asking others to repeat. Or if you notice that they're forgetting things, or, not remembering things as well as they once did, then I'd recommend getting their hearing evaluated. That's kind of the first step to, figuring out if this is more of a hearing loss or if it is more of a cognitive decline. Because like I said, they share a lot of the same symptoms. And so getting that hearing evaluated is really kind of the first step, and we can determine if, other referrals to other professionals are needed. But that's really the first step to, overcome, hearing difficulties, but also to help prevent future cognitive decline.
Absolutely. And can people come to you to do this? Where do they need to go to have these screenings?
Absolutely. Here at Livingston, we offer free hearing evaluations. And part of that evaluation is we're going to see how you hear in quiet, how you hear in background noise, just a very thorough, comprehensive hearing evaluation. So we're happy to see you or your loved ones, and you can visit us on our website at www.lhac.com and find a location near you. We have offices in both Midland, Odessa, as well as Big Spring. We're pretty much all around West Texas. And so there will be a location near you, and we're happy to serve you and your family.
Absolutely. And like you were saying, like there's really preventative, you want to know, like there's no too early time to start. If you see those yearly checkups, just something to add to the dental, the eyesight. Hearing is something that's so important, especially now with the study about it being linked to dementia. So thank you so much for talking about this and giving us a little more insight about kind of what to be on the lookout for and what to do whenever you might suspect that there's something going on. I really appreciate you being here, Hunter.
Well, I really appreciate you having me. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.